Episode 11. Wow, are we really that far?
Struggling to get your business online? You've come to the right place. Welcome to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. Now, here's your hosts, Michael and Teresa Blaze.
Welcome to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. My name is Michael, and my co-host is off this week. So I have a special guest for you who may show up from time to time. First, let me tell you just a little bit about him. His name is Adam Garcia. He's been a friend of mine for over 20 years. We've been business partners for a little over 8 years. And he's been involved in probably almost every one of the ventures that I've tried, including I can remember when we tried selling Kirby vacuum cleaners together. So just tell you how long I've known this guy. He's my right hand guy. You know, you heard me talk about in the outsourcing podcast. I think it was episode 7. I talked about my Man Friday. This is my Man Friday. So with no further ado, my partner, my friend, Adam Garcia. Welcome to the mic.
Hey, Mikey. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. How are you doing this afternoon?
Oh, man. You know how it is. Interruption after interruption after interruption.
It is, buddy. That's what we're going to talk about today.
Absolutely. That is what we're going to talk about. What we're talking about today is business interruptions. But before we get into that,
got a couple of announcements.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do believe we have some announcements for them.
Yes, we do. I want to let you know the SBPPodcast, Small Business Puzzle Podcast contest is alive and well.
Oh, my God. You actually got the page up?
We got the page up. Isn't that scary?
Yeah, considering who did it. Who did it, Michael? Huh? Who did it?
My Man Friday. So seriously, the contest page is up. All you have to do is just enter your email address and your name, email address, and your contest entry. In this case, our tribe name. If you recall, what we're trying to do is figure out what to call you guys. Teresa doesn't like puzzle acts. That's what I was thinking about, but you know, that's me.
Michael's weird like that, guys.
So what you can do is go to sbppodcast.com/contest and go ahead and put your entry in. You have until the end of May. We've decided to extend things out because it took us so blasted long to get this stupid page up. We've given you till the end of May, the last day of May. Let's see, 30 days has September, April, June, and November. Okay, May has 31 days. So May 31st at 12:59 a.m. Mountain Time to get your contest entry in.
Hey, Michael, tell them again what they're offering, or what you're offering, I mean.
What we are doing is, for the person that comes up with the best idea for our name, we are giving you the choice of an Amazon or iTunes gift card in the amount of $25.
Woohoo!
And
company people can join, right? Company people can join. Say company people join.
No. Anyway,
figures.
And the other part of that is we'll give you a 30-minute consult with us. We'll jump on the phone with you and we'll look into a deep dive into your business and do whatever we can to help you. But that 30 minutes is yours, and normally that's a $97 value for 30 minutes.
Hey, Mike, I just came up with a good idea, dude.
What's that, man?
And of course, you can. I'm not saying we have to do this. I'm just saying this would be cool, especially for the tribe members. Okay.
Okay.
There's a lot of people out there that are starting up businesses just like us, and a lot of things that they don't have, they really, really need. In fact, we've noticed this in a lot of the groups that we have been in. Why don't we
Right.
offer them the contract templates?
Oh, that's a good idea, Adam. That's a very good idea. We have some templates that we had created for us for the purpose of handling our marketing. So, for example, when we bring a new client on, we have them sign a non-disclosure agreement, we have them sign a contract, and we give them a what is it, Adam?
A proposal.
The proposal. So we give them the proposal.
Yeah, the way it's supposed to work out, guys, like, is this. First of all, before you even get into signing anything else, if they've made an agreement with you that, yes, they're willing to even look at what your services are, or service, depending on where you're at, the first thing you do is have them sign this NDA, this non-disclosure agreement. And the reason being is a lot of the stuff, well, at least for us, I'm not sure about anybody else, but at least for us, a lot of the stuff we use is proprietary in information or in software. So it's kind of important that you don't allow people, you can reveal it to them, but you don't allow them to take it and go to somebody else and say, I want you to do this just because they're cheaper. Okay? That's
Right.
what this non-disclosure agreement does, is it stops that from happening. Okay?
Right.
So we have anybody we approach who's agreeable to see our services, an example or whatever, we automatically have them sign this. The next thing we do is there's the proposal. The proposal is written by us, and basically it just states what we're going to do for them and for how much money and or barter and or whatever. Okay? And then we send that to them. They have to sign it. If we offer them several services, sometimes we have supply like check marks. Do you really want this service? Kind of like a last-ditch effort. You can make it cheaper this way, or you can do this. And we also offer in the proposal what the payment agreement is. If there's going to be payments, is there going to be a down payment, so on and so forth. If they agree to all of that, then we automatically send them the general agreement. Now, all of this is customizable regardless of what locality you're in, whether it's local, state, or country. Okay? Now, here's the thing. Yes, we will be willing to give these to you. As you can see, Mike said it was a good idea. But what I must insist on is that you understand that we will not be held responsible for anything that goes wrong just because we're providing you these contracts. Also, it is very important that you approach your local attorney in your state, locality, or if necessary, your country, and make sure that everything that is doing, that these contracts and everything is legal and binding, and that you're not subjugating yourself to future problems. Okay, legal problems in this case. So
Okay,
I must make that aware.
Let me clarify that just a little bit. Okay, so what Adam is trying to say is that what we want you to do, first of all, we need to tell you that we're not attorneys. We may have stayed at a Holiday Inn Express. We are not attorneys. Therefore, this does not constitute legal advice. Boy, I should have recorded this ahead of time. We are not attorneys. Anyway. What we want you to do is to run these by your business attorney, so that you can get the best advice and make sure that the contracts are legal in your state, and what changes might need to be made in order to make that happen.
Absolutely, and I insist that you guys do that because it really helps you in the long run. We have learned by
really
failure,
important.
guys.
Yeah. So let's get on with our show here, Adam.
Okay, sounds good. As
Okay,
we
so
were
we're gonna
talking
talk
about.
Okay, we keep stepping on each other. Sorry about that, guys. Okay, so Adam, what were we going to talk about today?
We were going to talk about business interruptions. And what I mean by business interruptions is that when you're a small business, whether you're at home or you're in a virtual office or you're in a big business, these interruptions tend to slow down your day. And what I would like to do is I'd like to point out a few types that we've experienced, both Michael and I individually, and what we do to avoid them as best as possible. Now,
attempt to avoid them.
Yeah. Let me put it that way: attempt to avoid them, because unfortunately,
we're still working on it.
Yeah. And what Michael means by working on it is we're trying to set systems in place so that we don't get interruptions. But of course, you're not going to be able to avoid everything. I mean, that's impossible. And I'm not saying that you're going to avoid everything. What I am saying is that you're going to minimize that, okay, by doing what we're telling you to do. The biggest problem I have seen is these interruptions waste your time during the day. And by wasting time, you're wasting money. So it's important that you understand how to get past this.
Well, not only do you need to know how to get past this and to minimize it, but you've got to be able to get back on track after something drops into your life and interrupts you.
Absolutely.
That's my biggest challenge. It's like, man, something happens, I get a call from the school, I get a call from the healthcare people that help me with my daughter's care, whatever, and then from then on, it's just like my brain just like bleh.
And I think a lot of the reason why is because at least for me, I'm not sure about you, Mike, or anybody else out there, but at least for me, what it tends to do is it stresses you out. And when it's
big time.
Yeah, and here's the thing: when it stresses you out, you lose track and you lose focus. And sometimes, especially for people like me, sometimes it takes a while for you to get back on track. But if you have a system in place to avoid the interruption, you will avoid most, if not all, interruptions. Like I said, you're not going to avoid all of them. And basically, this is going to minimize it to maybe, well, I don't know about you, Michael. With my family, it's usually about 4 or 5 a day or per hour or something like that. But I think the best part about it is that you keep trying to move forward. You know what I mean? And make things better.
Absolutely.
Make things better for yourself.
Absolutely. So I would say the first... We're just kind of winging this one today, guys. But first one I would say is scheduling.
Absolutely.
You have to, if you're really going to turn what you're doing into a business, or you've got a business that is keeping, that you're trying to get off the ground or trying to get started online or whatever, you've got to schedule. If you don't schedule, and I'm not just talking about a calendar. Yeah, I mean, you got to keep track of your appointments and keep track of your meetings and all that fun stuff. But it's also, you need to schedule work time for yourself.
Yes.
So that you can get some solid work in at the times that you're most likely not to be interrupted. If you tell your secretary, hey, I'm turning the phone off, I want you to answer the phone, and I don't want to be bothered unless unless the world blows up.
Yeah.
Hopefully she'll do that.
Or if there's a zombie apocalypse,
get some work done. Yeah, zombie apocalypse, can't forget that. But what you've got to do is schedule. And I'm for what we have decided, for example, on Teresa's and my end, is what we do is we've scheduled out the days. So, for example, we know that Monday we want to release a new episode, so we schedule that. And Tuesday is our day to do our recording. Wednesday is our production day.
Yeah.
Thursday is our blogging for the company day. And Friday is our blogging for our own personal sites. Both Teresa and I have michaelblaze.com, and Teresa has teresablaze.com. And we each blog, although we haven't been as consistent recently.
Yeah,
that's
and
something that
that goes
we
the same
want to
for
change.
yeah, that goes the same for me. On Fridays, what I've decided to do is now they were up at one time. I have actually two blogs. So you guys know, Michael started me out in marketing in what was it 2008 or 2009, Michael?
2008, I believe.
Yeah, 2008 because I came out with the blog, a blog that I had called Diabetic Cookbook Blog. I came out with that on around 2009, and that's how I started learning internet marketing.
Right.
And Michael wanted me to go through basically a free training to do that. In case, and this guy, I love this guy. His name's Ed Dale, and if anybody has the chance to go talk to, meet up with, or even be a part of anything Ed Dale has, please go do it because the man is an outstanding mentor. He comes from Australia. He's into cameras and guitars, and man, the dude's outstanding as a teacher.
Thanks, Apple.
Oh yeah, definitely. Guy's an Apple freak from. He's just an Apple freak. But that's how I got into internet marketing. And then later on, I came on board with Michael and Teresa, basically doing content writing and becoming a WordPress specialist. Later on, I became a social media expert and so on and so forth. But my point is that I have a very large family. I have 5 children. Okay. Now, several of them are grown up, and a couple of them are out on their own. One of them is autistic and actually is with my parents, and maybe one day I'll explain that situation to you. But understand he's autistic, and he actually has been adopted by my parents, and so and it's not that I ignore him or anything. I mean, I go and see him as much as possible, try to be a part of his life as much as possible. But he lives about 30 minutes away from me. And it's very difficult for me to get back and forth with all of the business work that I'm doing, with all the things that I have to do with the immediate family that lives with me. So it's important. Michael's right. It's important that you schedule, But I think the most important thing is you got to schedule each and every little thing that you have. So, for example, with me, I have everything that I'm doing with the company. So as Michael said, Monday is our release day. Tuesday is our record day. And Tuesdays, it's not just me recording or Teresa recording or all 3 of us recording together. It tends to wind up being different things, and interruptions happen, especially because I'm coming from home, where I'm at. And actually I live about 3 hours away from Michael. I think it's about 3 hours.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, Michael and I, we talk constantly, and we're always together constantly, at least on the phone. And there are times we try to meet up together, but we have to schedule everything we're doing. And Michael, with his daughter, he completely has to schedule everything because of all the special needs that she has.
Right.
And then, of course, you got to remember there's personal time for him. There's personal time for him and his wife. There's, all this has to be scheduled in one form or another, at least a general basis. And that's what Michael and I are doing. For example, with the podcasting, we're setting up to where we know the days we're going to record, we know the days we're going to produce, we know the days, and then we leave time for catch up. So, for example, on Friday, blogging for us, I mean, it used to take forever, but blogging for us no longer takes that long. So for our personal blogs, we go ahead and blog and post it. And then if there's anything that we need to do, and we're just talking just the podcast here, if there's anything we need to do for the podcast, we go ahead and set it up to where our catch up is for about a day and a half. About half a day on Friday and Saturday as a catch-up. Now, of course, if we don't have anything to do, which in most cases, from what I can tell, we don't, that's family time.
Right.
So obviously, we're doing something right. But we have to do this for every single thing that we're doing in our business. So if you bring on a new client, you have to have some kind of setup standard. for them. And this will help you in your content strategies and your social media strategies, and all your planning in the future. So yes, absolutely. Schedule. That's important.
Okay. And so then I'm thinking the next one that you really need to do, and I realize these are kind of general, guys, but, there's so many different business owners out there that, have different requirements and different needs and stuff. So it's kind of hard for us to come up with individual items for everybody. But what you do need to, I would say, another thing you can do is you need to come up with 3 to 4 tasks per day that you need to do for each day.
Mm-hmm.
So, for example, if on a recording day, all right, I know that one of my tasks is I'm going to have to record. And I'm leaving the second day for production because, to be honest with you, this takes a lot out of you. Once you're done, you kind of need a break to do other stuff. But what I try to do is I try to plan four tasks, no more than 4 per day, that I have to get done that day. And you want those tasks as specific as possible.
But not only that, Michael, I think it's important that you mention, and I'll mention this for you guys, I think it's important that you make sure that these 4 tasks are absolutely business related to increase your clientele and or your profit. Okay? I think that's important.
Yeah, they need to be money tasks, absolutely. And what I mean by money tasks is those are tasks that are going to take you closer to making money.
Right.
Anybody can sort the business cards that you have in your pocket, but it's a whole different thing to be writing an email that you're going to send out to those business contacts and trying to get them to try your product
or service or whatever.
Yeah. So, and Robert Plank has a really good system, and he even has an accountability system, and I will include that in the show notes so that anyone who's interested in that can try that. He has a pretty cool video and system, and it's all free, fortunately. So we'll definitely include that link in the show notes.
If we could include Robert in the show notes, that'd be cool, but unfortunately he's not available.
Robert's awesome. I actually I had the privilege of talking to him recently, and we will probably be interviewing him for another podcast that we're going to be launching in a few weeks. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Absolutely.
Okay, so Adam, what's our number 3?
I would say, well, we talked about scheduling, and we talked about the 4 daily tasks. I think this is an important one, and that is make sure that you do something to avoid communications with outside people other than immediate family and emergencies, specifically to achieve your goal. So, for example, if a bill collector calls, you know what? I don't have time for that. I'm trying to make money here. I'm trying to make this business succeed. I am not worried about what bill's coming. You know what I tell them? Sorry, gotta go, bye. Period. End of story. Right. And I hang up. I don't have time.
I don't even answer the phone.
Yeah, and there's time. And if you know it's a bill collector, don't even answer. Okay, here's the other thing that I do. Just for example, right now, before the podcast, I live in a home, and the first thing I do is, in order to make things work properly, is I make sure everything is in order to do the podcast, specifically the recording for the podcast. So, for example, I go out there and I tell my whole entire family, which is 5 other people, by the way, including my wife, that I cannot be interrupted. I do not want to be interrupted. I also take my phone and I put it in airplane mode. If it's important and it's a family member, they'll get a hold of my wife. If it's important and it's a family member, they'll leave a voicemail. Okay? It's important that you set up standards. It's important that you set up systems. And this is one of the things you're going to have to do. And I know it sounds rude and obnoxious, and there's a lot of people. Michael had a problem with this at one time, where
I still do.
Yeah, and I understand why, because you feel, I guess you kind of feel guilty or obligated, maybe.
I've been one of those people that have always tried to be there for my clients to to answer their phone calls and to address their needs as quickly as possible. But what I found over time is that you can't do that. You can't be available. I mean, you're sitting at a doctor's office trying to talk to them about some issue with your kid, and you've got your phone ringing from your client asking about something that could wait an hour.
But to them, they think it's an emergency. See, that's the thing.
Right.
You got to make sure, and mind you, like I said, we have experienced this through failure, guys, by learning what to do. We have had to hold hands for clients left and right, and we've had to get rid of clients. I mean, we've literally had to fire clients because it took too long, or it took too much to deal with them being held by the hand and directed in their way, and then they wouldn't listen half the time,
Right.
And it's not that it's a bad thing. I understand where some businesses are coming. They want other things to be done for them because they're too busy trying to expand their business, but there's a right way and a wrong way to do things, guys. And
Right.
to be honest,
So
you don't have
you're in a
time.
service- right. Sorry. Go ahead, Adam.
No, you don't have time to sit there and hold a hand for a client, especially if you start getting big and you start getting 10, 15, 20 clients at a time, and there's just you. Now, Michael has me, okay? And usually I'm the one that deals with all the client problems. Now, if I need Michael, yes, I call him and tell him, hey, there's a situation, how should we handle it, blah, blah, blah. And we come up with a solution. But the problem is if you're one person, and there's a lot of small business people out there, there's a lot of entrepreneurs out there that are just them. If you're by yourself, you don't have the time, especially if you're just starting off. What happens What happens later when you get 100 clients, 1,000 clients, 10,000 clients? You're going to sit there and hold their hand for each and every one? I mean, I want to do that, but it's impossible, guys. You don't have the time. And I know it sounds rude, and I know it sounds obnoxious, and I know it sounds unfriendly, but it's not. You're one person. Do what is important to make your business thrive. But everything else that is not considered an emergency, and by emergency, I mean the business, the Google business listing's gone, and there's no way in the world that you did anything wrong. Yeah, that's an emergency. Okay, I can understand something like that. But when it's
website,
I mean, give an example, Michael. Go ahead.
well, if their website's down, obviously they need to let you know about that as quickly as possible so that you can get it back up. Because if their website's down, then they can't make money. So that's important. You can't put a client off on that one. And that's why I have Adam. If someone has a website down, they're supposed to contact Adam, or they're supposed to send us an email. And I'm checking my email probably 10, 12 times a day. So, if I see a website down notification, I'm going to jump on it as quickly as possible.
But, like I said, there's interruptions that happen that are avoidable, and interruptions that happen that really can wait. Just because it's their emergency doesn't dictate that it's an emergency for you guys.
Right, exactly. And the question you have to ask yourself is, what is the value of your time? Your time is your most precious asset. You can't make more time. You can't buy more time.
Unless you think you're
or anything
God.
Else. No. But you can't, your time is your most precious commodity. So that's the thing you got to consider. Now, if a client's paying you $10,000 a month, you better answer their phone call.
Or at least have somebody who can address the problem.
Right. Have someone that can address the problem and do what you got to do.
But then again, if you got clients that are paying you $10,000 a month, trust me, you've got somebody to address their problem.
God, I hope so. So, that I think that's our point number 3. Adam, I think we're going to have to sign off here pretty quick.
Well, I just wanted to give them some examples on this. And guys, if you have a question, if you're unsure of how to handle something, I want you to contact me. I'm willing to help you. Within 24 to 48 hours, I will respond. If I don't respond, Michael and Teresa will be there. Contact me. I think we've got the email set up already, Michael.
Yeah, you can send an email to SBPPodcast@gmail.com. SBPPodcast@gmail.com, and we'll respond to that as quickly as we can.
Absolutely.
The other thing you can do is you can go on the website. You can click the Contact Us link, and you can send us, and you can fill out the contact form, and we'll get that right away too through our systems.
I think they could even leave a voice message with us, right? Isn't it on the page?
Yes, you can. We have a service called SpeakPipe. Over on the right-hand side of our website, you'll see a button that says Leave a Voice Message. You can click that link, make sure you got your microphone handy, and you can leave us a voice message.
Dave.
And it'll come right to our inbox. So there's 3 ways you can contact us without any issues at all.
Yeah, so you can get a hold of us, guys.
We'd be happy to help you.
You can get a hold of us, trust me.
So what we will do, just for those people, getting back to those contracts real quick, I forgot to close that part out. What we need to do is, when you subscribe for the contest, we're going to send you the link for the content stuff, the creating content package that we put together, but we will also send you the contracts.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just fill out the form, sbppodcast.com/contest. Fill out the form, and you'll get that. You'll get that as well. So, any wrap up there, Adam?
Yeah. Let me put it this way: interruptions are going to happen, guys. You're going to get interruptions from family members. You're going to get interruptions from anything having to do with family, and you're going to get interruptions from people who think that you need to do something about something. Okay? It's going to happen. Again, we're not telling you that you're going to avoid every single problem. Okay? But absolutely, take these tips that we're giving you. It will help you. A lot of it has to do with time management. A lot of it has to do with knowing what to do and how to work with a client. And a lot of it has to do with knowing what things to shut down, shut off, turn away from. So make sure you're doing that. And if you have a question of whether or not something is going wrong, and you're not sure how you could manage it better, I want you to contact us on the 3 contact areas that we have, and I want you to go ahead and leave us a message, and we'll get back to you. I'll make sure that I'll get back to you, because Mike can tend to get pretty busy, but I'll make sure that I'll get back to you and send you an email, and we'll discuss it. We'll set up a meeting somehow, and we'll discuss it, and we'll figure out together how to work on it.
Alrighty. Good advice, Adam. So with that, we'll go ahead and close this one out. You'll be able to reach the show notes at sbppodcast.com/11, and that's for episode 11. You've been listening to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. I'm Michael.
And I'm Adam.
Have a great day.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Small Business Puzzle Podcast. To catch all our past shows, visit SBPPodcast.com.